Hey everyone! Let's be real for a second. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by all the conflicting diet advice out there, or if you're just totally frustrated by stubborn weight that absolutely will not budge, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're putting together a complete, no-nonsense explainer on low-carb diets. And we are just guessing here. We're pulling all of our insights directly from the expert medical analysis of Dr. V.K. Mishra from the Gastro Liver Hospital in Kanpur. We're going to break down the actual science of how your body stores fat, figure out exactly what foods will work for you, and give you a rock-solid blueprint you can take straight into your kitchen today. So get comfortable and let's dive right in. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. 1. The low-carb basics. 2. How carbs make us fat. 3. Foods you should eat. 4. The hidden sugar trap. And finally, 5. Starting your new lifestyle. Starting off with Section 1, the low-carb basics. Let's set that foundation. So, according to Dr. Mishra, if you want to reduce central obesity, that really stubborn belly fat, you have to decrease your carbs while simultaneously increasing lean proteins, healthy fats, and vegetables. But why? Well, it all comes down to a simple rule of 3. Number 1, this shift drastically speeds up the weight loss process, especially in those crucial first 6 months. Number 2, it reduces those frequent, super annoying hunger urges. We've all been there, right? That sudden, overwhelming feeling that you need a snack right this second. And number 3, it keeps you feeling full for a much longer period of time. Basically, this dietary approach directly attacks the absolute worst part of trying to lose weight, the constant hunger pangs. Moving right along to Section 2, how carbs actually make us fat. We have to understand the why before we can tackle the what. So ask yourself, why do carbohydrates actually turn into belly fat? It's not that carbs are inherently evil. They're a primary source of fuel for proper bodily function. But something goes seriously wrong in our internal processing pipeline when we consume the wrong types or just way too many of them. Let's look at how this builds. When you eat carbohydrates, they travel down to your small intestine. There, enzymes break these carbs down into simple sugars, primarily glucose. This glucose is then absorbed into your bloodstream and circulated all over your body. Now, when your body needs energy, it uses these glucose molecules. But to actually get them inside your cells, it needs insulin. You can think of insulin as the literal key that unlocks the door for glucose to be used. But wait, what happens when you have plenty of glucose, plenty of insulin, but your body doesn't actually need that energy right then and there? Well, that brings us to the next step. That excess glucose has to go somewhere, right? So it gets stored as glycogen in your liver and your muscles. Think of your liver and muscles like a giant fuel tank. They hold on to this reserve for emergencies. But if you just keep eating carbs and those tanks stay completely full and unutilized day after day, your body has no other choice. It literally converts that overflowing glucose into fat. The supply simply exceeds the demand, and all that unused energy inevitably becomes obesity. All right, Section 3, foods you should eat. Let's pivot from the science and talk about actually building your plate. So what does this all mean for your next meal? You might be bracing yourself for a sad list of dry, flavorless diet foods, but I promise you, the answers here, straight from Dr. Mishra's advice, are simpler, richer, and way more delicious than you might think. Notice the heavy focus on lean proteins and healthy fats. We are talking really satisfying food here. For proteins, you can definitely enjoy chicken. Just make sure that visible fat is removed, along with soybeans. For your healthy fats, seafood is an absolute game changer. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, and trout are packed to the brim with omega-3s. Then we have our nuts and seeds: walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. These are absolute gold mines of mono and polyunsaturated fats. And of course, avocado and olive oil are fantastic everyday sources of healthy fats. These are the exact, specific nutrients that trigger satiety in your brain, keeping you full and completely eliminating that urge to snack. Now, what's really interesting here is the number 6. Why? Because that is the exact number of grams of high-quality protein you get in just one single egg. Dr. Mishra highlights eggs as a phenomenal, everyday low-carb staple. Not only do you get those 6 grams of lean protein, but the yolk is incredibly rich in healthy fats and omega-3s. They're filling, they're super nutritious, and they are absolutely essential for a successful low-carb lifestyle. Okay, on to Section 4, the hidden sugar trap. We need to talk about disguised sugars. Because listen, you can do absolutely everything right with your proteins and healthy fats, and still completely derail your progress if you aren't careful. We have to talk about refined carbohydrates. By definition, these are carbohydrates that have been heavily processed. That processing strips away all their natural nutritional benefits, making them act exactly like simple sugars inside your body. When you eat refined carbs, you are essentially just eating disguised sugar. They spike your glucose instantly, flood your system, and send your body straight back into that overflowing fat-storing mode we talked about earlier. Dr. Mishra passionately calls out these specific traps, literally labeling them sugar powerhouses. Now, having traditional sweets for breakfast, like jalebis and MRTs, is a massive, obvious trap. But it's also the deceptive stuff that gets us. Packaged fruit juices that look super healthy on the box, they're usually loaded with added sugar. Everyday breakfast cereals and cornflakes, and of course chocolates, ice creams, cakes, pastries, and buns. Dr. Mishra's advice here is uncompromising. These items must be 100% avoided. You kind of have to become a detective. Look at the packaging. If it says added sugar, it's gotta go. Finally, Section 5, starting your new lifestyle. Let's get you that actionable blueprint. So for the carbs you do decide to eat, you want to follow a really simple eat this, not that strategy. You want to embrace complex carbohydrates, but in moderation. That means choosing brown rice instead of white rice, and whole wheat over refined flour. You absolutely must eliminate refined carbs. That means firmly stepping away from anything made with maida, that highly refined white flour, which, yes, sadly means saying goodbye to traditional puris and parathas made from it. That refinement process just strips all the benefits completely away. To sum all this up, your key takeaway is this incredibly simple 3-step formula to combat central obesity. Step 1, 0 simple sugars. Cut them out entirely. Step 2, eliminate all refined carbs like maida and white bread. And step 3, keep your complex carbs like whole wheat and brown rice, but consume them in moderation. By just reducing your overall carbohydrate load and filling that exact gap with healthy proteins and fats, your weight is going to stabilize, your constant hunger will vanish, and your body will finally stop storing all that excess fat. Which brings us to the most important question of all. Will you take that first step today to cut out those hidden sugars and finally conquer your health? You've got the blueprint now. You understand the science and you know exactly what needs to go on your plate. The power is completely in your hands, and it starts with your very next meal. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to guide you through our next topic.